I ain't seen you in 100 years, man. How you been?
Good. How are you?
Well,
You have
very well.
hair.
I have hit. I have. That's how long you haven't seen me. I have hair.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wowzers. Gee golly.
Gee, gee, golly.
Me too. 30 inches.
I see that. I see that. Some of the
Mm.
best you can find.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is
Got
that
some
out?
under this too. Mm-hmm.
Is that
Tam.
alpaca hair? That new
The
alpaca hair that's out now?
alpaca.
Yeah. Or is it
First
llama?
of all, first of all,
Not
you ain't got
llama.
what is this disrespect you slanging? That's the first thing.
It's me. Of course I'm a sling
Put some
disrespect.
put some respect on it. Don't do that. Don't do
Respect
that.
me.
I was driving home and I was like, dang, I forgot that I have my computer in my bag. And once I put it back on the dock, like I have to reset everything back up again. So my bad.
That's all right. We were just
Nah, you're
catching up.
fired. I'm supposed to be the late one. Mm-hmm.
Well, somebody got to hold down the responsibility, so I knew you was going to be early, so I just held it down.
Yeah, she said her reminder on her phone for 1 o'clock, so she was
I
ready.
did.
She cheated. But the topic I think was how different people view the relationships from like their perspective. And of course, the little shade of how I thought about it was that Precious, always had an opinion that you weren't a very good friend to me. But that was from her perspective of how she values a friend and what she does, because Precious goes above and beyond, and I'm always getting on her that she's always doing too much for people, especially temporary people. There's a lot of people that's come and gone that she bent over backwards for. So I think that kind of skewed the way she viewed you. And then of course when me and Mickey spoke about it, he was just like, well, he has so many years in the game that he doesn't even really get bothered by stuff. So, when people say certain things, he's just like, he just comes and checks with me. He's like, are we good? And I'm like, yeah, we good. And he's like, all right then. And so he just keeps it moving. So that's kind of like what I was thinking. We can kind of just talk and kind of, help people in the world that have that same issue where, I'm the one in the middle, so to speak. And there's two people on the other side that are like, not necessarily beefing, but, talking shit. And, how to like calm that situation down or whatever. And the whole time I've been speaking, Precious, you've been kind of like, you got something to say about it? Because I'm recording,
Of
so
course.
we can go
Of
ahead.
course.
We can go ahead. So go
Of
ahead.
course I have something to say. It's your show, so I was going to let you speak. I didn't want to speak over you because, I have manners and my mommy raised me right.
All right.
But
so what I'll do is I'll introduce you guys and then y'all can just roll. How about that?
Okay.
So for, my listening audience, thank you all for coming back. I told y'all before that we're going to be doing some different content, not just centered around, my newborn baby and stuff like that, but also, relationship help and stuff like that. So these are two of my best friends. They're really family. Everybody that knows me, I don't trust very well. So once you in my circle, you went through some shit with me and you qualified to be family. So Precious, me and her go back about 11, 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Mickey grew up together. I'll be 35 in August. He'll be 34, actually 33 in a month.
Yep. In less than a week and a half, February 3rd.
Yeah, so I thought you were.
Wow.
So Kenny's older than you?
Marginally, yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I knew your birthday was before him.
Yeah.
So I always thought you were like a week or two older than him. But okay. Because he'll be 34 in February.
Honestly, ever since I turned 30, my birthday, I get them mixed up, so I have to review. But I believe I know how old I'm turning, and I think I'll go recount to make sure, but I believe it's 32.
But yeah, me and Mickey, we go way back. I moved into his neighborhood. It was so me, my little brother, and Mickey and his cousin Rashawn. We all grew up together, same apartment complex. I moved over there when I was like 5 years old. And we've just been rocking ever since. So
over where?
out in Hyattsville, Maryland, over off of Sheridan
Okay.
Street. Good. We used to see so much stuff right next to Northeast DC. All that crime used to just come right on up in our neighborhood. All
On the
the drugs,
border.
it was crazy. Um, but our parents did, a very good job of keeping us away from that whole element. And one of the ways that we did it was, sports. We used to ball together. We play football and everything. So, without further ado, ladies first. Sizzle, you go ahead.
Well, just to comment on your first,
Shade.
the first point that you made when you first started, about there being some type of beef between me and Mickey. I feel like you are a shit starter. You have been a shit starter for as long as I've known you. And you know my personality. You know how I react to certain shit. So you tell me certain things in a certain way that make me react in a way that can seem
Don't take the bait.
volatile.
Don't take the bait. It's bait. Don't take it.
That can seem volatile. So
Don't take it.
sometimes what happens is you may cuss somebody out at somebody else's wedding, but then y'all end up hugging afterwards, so it's fine. But yeah, I feel like you be starting shit, and I feel like there's a lot of certain ways to say things to make me react in a certain way. Because like you said, I do. The type of friend that I am is the type of friend that I like. The energy that I give out is energy that I would like to receive. And if I'm not receiving the same energy, that never dulls what I give out, because that's just the type of person that I am. I don't think that somebody else's actions should diminish who I am as a person or what I want to do for that person. Just because that's the type of person that I am. And I feel like karma comes back around. So I have enough good karma out there for the other bullshit that I do, but also for the relationships that don't work out. And I feel like that's okay. And yeah, but the main point is that you be starting shit.
Having known him for so long, I could agree. I echo that sentiment that KJ is a shit starter. If you let him.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that for us to be friends this long, I had to learn how to not let that bother me, because he's very good at it. Even like he'll catch me slipping sometimes, and I find myself like in a place emotionally where I just want to punch him, and he's just looking at me laughing, and it's at that moment where I'm like, oh damn, he got me. Like I didn't even realize he got me. And he just takes pleasure in getting me. Like that's good enough for him. Like whether we go to violence about it is another story, but he's just satisfied with knowing that he got me once again. So my goal is to make sure that doesn't happen very often, personally. But I don't know. I knew who you were, but I didn't know you to beef with you. And I think that part of this is kind of fabricated in a way. Not fabricated. I feel like you felt. I feel like you felt how you felt, and I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel no type of way about how you felt. I agree with it, because as a friend of somebody else, those are the type of feelings you have to feel for people who you care about. When there's situations that you don't have a clear view on or clear expectations on or clear understanding of, you reacted in the way that's appropriate. So I can never fault you for how you reacted personally. That's never going to be anything you ever hear me say. And you heard it from my mouth. That's not me. I was taken aback because I didn't expect it. But I mean, again, I respect you for caring that much. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
But
you also have to keep it in perspective as well. Like I met KJ right before I turned 21, right? He's been to all of the important events in my life since then. I've been to like every function that he's ever had. I've maybe missed one. And I've never met you until him and Taryn got married. That was the issue for me. It was just like, okay. And then it wasn't like when we first met, I don't remember having any type of conversation about you, but we used to talk about my best friend at the time all the time. Like he knows exactly who that person is. And it's just like, I didn't start to hear about you until closer to when they were getting married. So then it was just like, okay, so where the hell has this person been? I don't understand. Like, there's been so much stuff that has happened and this person wasn't there. Are y'all for real friends? Like, I don't understand, because I'm putting, which I have, since I have gracefully turned 30, I have learned that I have to stop putting the expectations of like what I would do off on somebody else.
Mhm.
But, you know, back in my 20s when I was a young baby and I didn't understand what
That
it
was
meant
just
to be an
yesterday.
adult.
That was just yesterday. Yesterday.
It was a couple of months ago. Don't do me. But I in my head, in my 20-year-old head, I was just like, well, damn, if I'm here, he's supposed to be here, and this person is supposed to be doing this, because this is how I would act if I had been a friend to this person for so long. And then I think that I could see on him that it was bothering him, or in my eyes, it was bothering him that you weren't around as much. So it's like, not that I was ever like mad at you because it's something you did to me. I am the type of person that I react more when my friends are upset or if they feel hurt. So then it's like, okay, so now I have to fight because I don't like that you just pissed my friend off.
Right.
Like, that's the type of person that I am.
Right. But I would say, like, and this is where I think it will make sense. If you take what you know about KJ personally, like just remove like all of that and just think about who we're talking about. He is very siloed in, and he's good at like not portraying it that way, but he's very siloed in everything isn't for everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that if he need me, he's called me at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 5 a.m. Anytime he calls me, and for whatever weird reasons, by God's grace, I'm up every single time for whatever the situation may call for. But he knows that if he needs me, he can call me for anything. And that's just how this relationship works.
Right.
So there are things that I know that he was dealing with. And I felt from him that he just needed to deal with those things on his own. That's what I gathered. And that was when, like, you know, when Andre was first born and, you know, he was, you know, making trips out there. My job was down the street from the station. Like, I used to see KJ almost every day for a minute there, because I'd pick him up from the station. We'd go pick up Andre from school, then I'd go drop him off. And that was just something that we did at least a couple times a week. Every day might be a stretch, but at least 2-3 times a week. But, you know, me and KJ were talking the other day, like, I feel like I've known him for so long. Like, it's not like the friendship label, I don't want to take it away because it exists, but kind of like it's like family, you know. It's like you don't see your family every day, and when you see your family, you pick up like, hey, like nothing ever happened. Like, you ain't seen this person since last Thanksgiving, but it's Thanksgiving again, and you just pick right back in and plug right back in, and like, where you been, you know. And I guess the blessing of this friendship that me and him have is that it's got to that family point where that's just how it is. And I think it allows us the space to also cultivate great relationships with other people, right? So he's able to have a friendship with you, because I don't want to say I don't need to spend time with him like that, because that would probably not be necessarily true. But the level of understanding we have, our relationship doesn't need that. You know what I mean? For it to sustain and continue to be.
I completely understand what you're saying. And I feel like in that sense, that's kind of where KJ and I are now in our relationship, because I don't see him as often. Like, even though we live literally 15 minutes away from each other, I don't see him as often as I did when we first became friends. And like you said, it's not needed. Right.
And life too. Life just takes you through seasons and situations where, you know, you at that point in time, like, you had all that time, and then, you know, life shift, work, life, just, you know, you don't have it anymore. And I appreciate friendships that kind of can survive in life, you know, because life might mean that you might not talk to somebody for a minute, but when you come back, like, are they going to hold something over your head or feel away? Or are they going to be like, yo, like, so you good? Yeah. You good? Great. And then you just keep it pushing, you know. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No. I think I cut you off first, so it's fine. And also, I had to realize as well that male relationships are just different. The way that males communicate with each other is different. like certain stuff happens in like the male bond that I don't understand. Like I feel like for two females, like if we ever get into some type of physical altercation, we ain't friends no more. Like it's just not gonna happen. But like men can literally box with their boy and then be cool right afterwards. I don't get that. So I had to understand too that male relationships are very different as well. So I think that's another component of something that I didn't really understand until, you know, God blessed me with the 30. So we're here now.
This is beautiful. This is really beautiful.
I'm gonna hit him.
Yeah,
If you go first, I'll follow up. I'll tell you that.
It's okay. So I'll start from the beginning. You know, one of the reasons why, and I said this in one of my other vlogs on the channel, one of the reasons why I like to push people's buttons is to kind of force growth.
Because you're an asshole. Just
I mean, that too. So that's, you know, I have fun doing it, but, you know, the reason is to force growth, you know, because if there's, for one, you know, me and Mickey, we can go back and forth. We really be having like real slighted intellectual battles, and it just be, you know, how funny, how slick, how many different ways can we twist the word around to kind of, you know, see who can one up one another. And it really forces you to think on your feet. And that's one thing that my wife noticed about me is, you know, she'll say something to me and I'll just like instantly have a response. And it might be like it might sound like real smart, but I just pulled it up my ass. She'd just be like, are you serious right now? Like, I don't really know. But I get that from just me and Mickey just going back and forth. From me trying to get under his skin. And he's developed now to this point where it's harder and harder for me to get under his skin. But if you just think about that professionally, if he's dealing with, because, you know, he's in customer service and stuff. So if he's dealing with the customer, he can, you know, now not react a certain way because he's just in the back of his mind. He's like, yeah, you know, KJ, you know, what?
So you're telling me that you are an asshole to one of your oldest, closest friends to make him better at his job?
Make him a better person overall.
Oh, okay. I just wanted clarity on that. Okay.
Professional.
Okay.
Make him a better person.
Okay.
I mean, just imagine, like, I'm always just pushing buttons. I just do it because, for one, yes, it's funny, and I like to watch people squirm and stuff like that. But as I see people develop, because Precious, I do the same thing to you. And just look at where you are now. You used to be
look at where I am now. Oh, thank you, AJ.
You got a nice stick.
Made me grow so much, and I just can't even.
I'll be telling you.
I'm just a vessel. I don't do it.
No, I'm just a vessel.
I'm just a vessel.
Wowzers!
I get these talents from somewhere else, and I have to thank him every day. So, you know, but
I just want you to know, in case nobody has told you today, that you are full of shit.
I mean, but I digress. Also, as you and Mickey were saying, like the relationship kind of develops and evolves over time. So, you know, me and Sizzle, as I titled this roundtable, like we used to have roundtables all the time, and we used to just sit up and just get drunk and just talk about issues and, you know, philosophize and, you know, just be there for one another. And we don't do them as much now anymore. For one, because I think we don't really need to, because we kind of gotten to the point where we can kind of figure things out on our own. Especially at the time that we were doing all of the roundtables, you know, it was a lot of stuff, a lot of toxic stuff going on in each of our lives. We had a lot of misunderstandings that we were figuring out, you know, but now here we are and we're good now. So we definitely help one another in that sense. And, you know, I also don't want to discount Mickey because, you know, he was there from the beginning through a lot of that. Like he saw a lot of, you know, the pain and everything from the beginning. So while I had like buried it for years and it wasn't bothering me, he saw the emphasis of it. even to this day, if I'm bullshitting, he can still just look at me and be like, nah, like, you know, what's really up? Like, talk to your boy, like, what's going on? And he can just see through um, the sheet that I put up. He's just like, nah, I know what's really bothering you. Just tell me what it is. So that's how, you know, me and him have continued to stay friends, because I'm always the one that wants to, you know, bullshit and just, you know, make somebody laugh and, you know, make a joke out of something. And I could never really do it with him. So I'm like, all right, you know, let me keep this dude around, because he'll keep me on my toes. He'll make me better. He makes me have the uncomfortable conversation, which is what a lot of people don't want to do. A lot of people don't like to have the uncomfortable conversation. But from what my fault was, and I'm not going to really necessarily say fault, but, you know, what I basically did, which Mickey touched on, is I kind of just compartmentalized everybody. So, you know, Sizzle, I had you for a certain reason, and Mickey, I had you for a certain reason, and I didn't mix them. And I kind of felt like my life was already so chaotic, I didn't want anything to mix. I wanted it to be neat and in order, because everything else was chaos. But I feel like maybe now I'm at the point where it's not so much chaos anymore, and stuff can mix. And just the way you all have benefited me individually, maybe now you all can start to benefit one another. Or, you know, not even just you specifically, everybody else can kind of just start mixing and benefiting one another. So I can stop being so selfish with you guys. So that's kind of like...
I do be brightening up people's lives or whatever.
I think so.
It's the truth. I'm a ray of sunshine. What are you saying?
You're a ray of something. Yeah, I'm a ray of something.
That's not nice.
What are you talking about? Talking to me.
Keep playing. I got your mother's number still, so
Okay.
I'm gonna tell her.
You will talk to her more than I do.
Well, to make sure that this doesn't go too far, I think that you know, even in like my own life, I would say that my friend groups are kind of like that. Like and it's not just like individuals, it's like friend groups. Like it's groups of friends over here that don't necessarily commingle with group of friends over here. And honestly, sometimes it's just better that way. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's cool to have these different places where I'm gonna say something in a way that's probably gonna be misunderstood, but I don't mean it how it's gonna sound. To escape to, if you will. Like if all your friends are together, like you, and it's all like in one group circle, it's actually probably really good for a lot of reasons, but also really bad because you don't have anywhere to go outside of that. So having friend groups or friendships that don't necessarily all commingle isn't necessarily a bad thing. Now, I don't think you should be living different lives with your different friend circles. Like you should be, you as an individual should be consistent. But you shouldn't have like to give somebody a speech like, yeah, so these people don't think I drink. So I need you to just like not drink either. You know what I'm saying? Like you shouldn't have to like pretend to be somebody that you're not. Like you should be your consistent self no matter what your situation, friend group, relationship may be. But I think that it is okay to have these different groups of friends that just service you and your life differently. You know what I'm saying? Without necessarily a need to have to explain that to anyone per se. And of course, they're just, you know, for instance, if you talk about relationships that are romantic or, you know, best friend stuff, typically those are the people who are going to know about different things. So, you know, but other than that, like, I don't think you owe Jane from accounting, who you see at work, an explanation on why you have this friend over here that she never heard of before. But that's, I guess, to just comment on what you just said, that would be what my comment is.
And, you know, I guess the way to explain it for anybody that didn't understand it is it kind of puts you in a situation where if you mingle all of your friends together, then if one of your friends says something that pisses you off, now you have nowhere to go to vent where that conversation can't escape. Because it's real easy for me to say, I can say something to either one of you guys, especially the way it currently has been set up, and I know the conversation won't get to either one of you guys.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
I mean,
hey, Precious. Too late now. Too late. Sorry.
But you see what I'm saying, like, because you all were separated. So
as of 2:00 on January 24th, 2021, that no longer exists. So sad for you.
Yeah, well, that's why I waited all these years to
it's been real lasted.
Now the truth comes out.
Yeah, I've been talking a lot of shit. But y'all been saying that. Y'all always said I'm a shit starter and I'm a shit talker. So I mean,
Definitely.
but not even just YouTube specifically, just anybody in general, just anything in general. If me or anybody don't have separated groups or compartmentalized groups, then conversations aren't private. It's like group business. It's like having a group chat in your entire life 24/7, and you can never turn it off. So I think, or at least from a male perspective, I think that's the reason why we do it. Maybe different for you, Precious.
No, it's definitely exactly the same. I've even learned, especially in the last relationship that I'm in, that your nigga don't even need to meet all of your friends. So, yes.
When you say that, what do you mean exactly?
I mean that, okay, so me, Precious, I
don't speak of yourself in the third person. Just say me, Precious.
I'm not the type, like, I'm very, I keep my relationships I play them very close because I get sick of niggas and I don't like for people to ask me where they at. That's the honest answer to that.
We'll unpack that in a minute. Keep going.
But well, not necessarily I get sick of niggas. It's just that I don't
change it. You meant what you said. I saw it in your eyes when you said it. You get sick of niggas. It's okay. You don't have to walk it back. It's an acceptable statement.
People just don't deserve my presence, and it doesn't take me long to figure that out. Okay. That's what I'll say. What was I talking about, Nick? Oh, the last relationship that I was in, I tried to integrate him into my separate friend groups, and I feel like it was his mission to fuck up every interaction that happened. Except for with my family. My family liked him, but my family is also real fake. So they'll act like they like you and they talk about you behind their back. They're real fake. But it was just, I just learned that, like, it definitely depends on the person. But in that particular situation, I felt like I was in a situation where our time together, he wanted it to just be our time. So whenever I would take him around somebody else, that he felt that he had a better position or was more important than, he liked to do whatever he could to make our relationship look crazy, and for him to, I don't know, because it would be like, I would have a conversation with him before we got there, like, hey, this is what you should expect, blah, 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 blah. And I think that in his mind, he felt like I was telling him what to do. But it's just like, no, I just know these people and I know how they act and how they will react. So I'm just letting you know so you can be prepared. You're a grown-ass man. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. But I would think, as somebody who, if you tell me that you love me, you want to be in this circle of people that are around me that love me too. And not everybody wants that.
Yeah, because do you remember the conversation I had with you about how I was going to stop I don't know. I guess I should say like putting certain expectations on you with like the people you were dating and stuff like that. And I was just going to kind of let it just happen more naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt like,
well, see, my whole thing with sorry, I'm over here swinging around this lighter. My whole thing with that is I feel like it came to a point where, like, because I'm single, so I'm always dating. You know what I'm saying? And just because I'm dating somebody does not mean that that is my boyfriend. Somebody that I want to introduce to everybody else. Somebody that my friends and or family need to know.
yeah,
And I feel like because you're my best friend, you know about those people too. And it's just like, oh, I need to meet this person. And I'm just like, no, nigga, you don't. Because they're not really, for lack of better words, important.
yeah, and that's kind of where I was getting at was for a little while, at least for me, it felt like whoever you was dating, I had to like be the big brother in me because I had to like
But
vet
they're
them
out
to
of
make
control.
sure, yeah, had to make sure they was good enough for you or something like that. Because I mean, you do have a younger brother, but I mean that's not really his role. Like I was being big brother, I was going to check
Oh,
him
he
out.
thinks he's my daddy as well.
I mean, he can, but I mean that's just where I was coming at it. I was like, oh, you this new dude, okay, let me see where new dude is at, and I basically just had to stop doing that because I realized I was well, at least I felt like I was putting pressure on your relationship with that other person for no reason. Especially if you were looking at me like, I mean, it's just, he's just taking me out to dinner. It's nothing serious. Um, so it was a little while where I basically stopped kind of caring who you were talking to or dating, whatever you wanted to call it. And I think I told you, I was like, when you tell me it's serious, when you tell me, it's to that level, then I'll start to be like, all right, cool. Let me meet this dude. And your ex was the first one in a while that basically fit that bill. And I felt kind of bad that because it was literally the first time we met him and it was like a complete disaster. And I was just like, damn, like this. And because in my mind, I'm like, I want to fix it, but I also need to talk to dude because he's older than me. And from what I'm seeing, I'm like, yo, like, and I think I even told him, I was like, I'm the last person to be talking about somebody else's drunk antics and stuff like that. But, we pushing 35. So, at what point, you a father, I'm a father, like, we kind of, what is it? You need somebody to talk to. What it is it? Because the way you acted, especially after what happened when you got back to the room and, he bust his face open and all that other stuff. I was just like,
that was a whole separate incident, but yes.
Yeah. I'm just like, yo, because I had to learn that, it was just like, I mean, it's cool to have fun, but I mean, there's a line. And after a while, when you get older, that line should be closer and closer to your chest.
Right.
And, I really wanted it to work out for you and him because y'all seem real cool. And he definitely put you in your place, which was something I've never seen before. But it just wasn't meant to be, So, like I really had to learn to stop putting, I think you said in the beginning, like putting my expectations onto every single relationship because it simply ain't going to be that way. But also, I had to learn that I've been around for so long, and everybody else is not going to be here. Like I'm just permanent. I'm not going nowhere.
And also, you haven't been single for a while.
That too.
I would like to say just pose a question, I guess, for us to talk about, but also to consider for other people who watch this, like, how important is it that your best friend integrates into your relationship, your romantic relationship? Because to me, as long as I'm big on respect, just don't disrespect. Like, as my best friend, you shouldn't be disrespecting my significant other, and as my significant, don't disrespect my best friend. Like, I don't. There's no need for it. Like, now, granted, sometimes someone puts himself in a position to catch some disrespect, and that's a different story. But I feel like you should have enough respect for me and my relationships. So if you have a problem, first of all, let me know, and let's see if we can work it out. Like, don't take it upon yourself to like feel like you gotta be a superwoman in my case, because I like women, and fix and fix the situation on your own. You know what I'm saying? If it's a problem, like you don't like something or whatever, you can easily bring that to me, and me and whoever the other party or as a group, we can talk it out and figure it out. Because you don't got to go fly off the cuff and go cuss somebody out without, you know what I'm saying, considering like the relationship dynamics and all that. So
Right.
that's what I was just asking. Like, if you met somebody you really like them, but like you're two of your best friends, because you said you have two. In your case, like if they're like, does that influence your decision on maybe continue with something with that person at all? Your face just gave me the answer, so it don't matter what your mouth say, because your face answered
No,
first.
because as you can see, I like red. Precious sees red signs, and she's like, "Oh, I like red. I like it."
Okay.
I'm learning to get out of that. That's why I'm on a whole I'm off niggas cleanse. But I feel like I take what they say and I put it in my back pocket, because I feel like both of my best friends are very intuitive and they know what I bring to the table, what I want, and who I am. And I know that they have my best interest in heart whenever they tell me something about whoever it is that I'm seeing. But I feel like sometimes it'd be a little bit too soon to give that opinion, because you gotta let people see stuff for themselves. Like, definitely let me know however it is that you feel, but I don't know. I'm not quick to make people my boyfriend. So it's just like, you might be telling me to leave this person alone when there ain't nothing to leave alone. If that makes sense.
That makes all the sense in the world, and I apologize for laughing. I was not laughing at anything that you said. It was something that was happening external. So no, that I wasn't. I don't want you to misunderstand that at all. But I understand what you're saying personally.
Yeah.
I think that it's interesting because I never forget, and sometimes you can tell in how someone talks about somebody, like the answers. Like I never forget the first conversations I had with KJ about Taryn before I ever met her. Just the conversations that he was talking, and just how he would talk. And I remember telling to him like, "Yo, like you just can't approach this one like any of the rest of them." And he says, "What do you mean?" I was like, "You know exactly what I mean, and don't play stupid because I'm not going to explain it to you. Like you know what I mean." I was like, because you haven't said it yet, like directly, but everything that you're saying or have said so far lets me know that this isn't the situation that you just came from, and it's nothing like all of the other ones before that I know about. So it's like you have to approach it differently. And your friends, your best friends can tell you those certain things, because I think sometimes you're searching for that, right? Like you want like that confirmation, like without saying what you think. Like you just want to kind of talk it to someone and somebody be like, yeah, nah, I can see that. I think this is for you. You know what I'm saying? But you don't want to come out, because as best friends, sometimes not us as a group, because I think we're all antagonists by nature, but sometimes your best friends just agree with you, right? Because they just want to see you happy. You know what I'm saying? So if you seem happy, they'll be like, I wouldn't, but you seem happy with it, so go ahead and go. Knowing that if it don't go good, I'm gonna be here for you to pick up the pieces and go through it, or help with the healing process. But I don't want to, because of what I think or what I feel, I don't want to say no to this for you, and then next thing you know, you ain't got no. Like you don't go through it, you never know what it would be for you. You know what I'm saying? Versus going through it and it don't work, then that's a different story. Like we can, work that out. But sometimes best friends are just serial yeses. Like, yeah, sure. No, yeah, yep. I know that in certain situations I've been in with some of my other friends, I've probably told people that I thought that something was a good idea. And then when I really, really thought of it after, I'm like, that's probably not a good idea. But I'm like, it just seems so happy. Like I've never seen you so happy. So I just feel like I'll be trying to take that from you. Now, if it doesn't work, cool, we can deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Like I will be there to help you through that. But at the same time, I feel bad saying that that's not going to work. Who am I to say that? It's not a relationship I'm in. I don't think it will work.
A trooper.
I don't think it would work for you, but you might be willing to accept certain things in this part of your life, not where it might actually work for you. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I get what you're saying, and I feel like that's very nice of you. I'm just not that nice friend. Like, I'm not the friend that you call.
Yeah, you are. You are. You are. I'm telling
KJ,
you.
am I a nice friend?
You are. You just spoke about how you're a nice friend. We spent the first 5 minutes
I'm a
talking about how nice
very
a friend you
giving
were.
person. I'm the type of person. If I only have $20 in my bank account and KJ calls me and says he needs $20 for gas, I'm giving it to him. Period.
So what is that? What is that? What do you call that?
I'm a giving person, but I'm not about to lie to you. If I think something is dumb, I'm
it's
gonna
not.
tell you that.
It's not about lying. It's like, okay, for instance,
It
right?
is.
Hold
That
on.
is lying.
Let me
And
ask you a question. Do you? Okay.
Mhm.
We can all speak. Okay. So, we both. Well, I think you came in on the tail end of that. But while he was
Yeah.
in that, I said, I don't think so. And he said to me, but I think I want to try to make it work. And I said, if that's a decision that you choose to make, that is fine. I support you in that. But I personally don't see it. I don't see it. Now I believe that
Mhm.
anyone can decide to put themselves through a situation, as hellish as it may be, if they decide to put their head down and just be consumed by that. Um, you'll be surprised what you can endure if that's the decision that you choose to make. But I feel like I don't want to sit here and sound like I'm cool with my friends doing things that I think are reckless, right? But just because I don't see it, that doesn't mean that it won't work for you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a clear difference where everything you know about the situation that we're talking about right now, it's a no brainer that would not work, right?
Right.
I could not say and I could not tell him I don't think it's gonna work. You know what I'm saying? But in that
Right.
same breath after that if you're willing to put in the time and you think that it's gonna be something, by all means, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? But every
No, I
situation
mean,
isn't in that.
yeah, I completely understand that sentiment because that's actually the same thing that my friend Alexis said to me when I was in my last situation. She was just like, no matter what happens between y'all, I was here before him and I will be here after that. And that's something that I always appreciated from her, like, because there was a lot of shit that happened where I definitely should have walked away, but I feel like because I date with intention and when I call somebody my boyfriend, you're basically auditioning to be my husband, right?
Come on,
And I
Patrick. Let
feel
them know
like
how it's supposed to go. Let them know how it's supposed to work. Let them know.
so
That's what
I
it
feel
is.
like
This
there
is
are
an
things that
AOL
you are going to
trial.
go through there's trials and tribulations that you go through in a relationship. And I'm not saying that every relationship is supposed to hurt, but there's stuff that you're supposed to go through. And the way that you go through it together kind of defines what the relationship is going to be. And something that I can look back at now and see that I did not see while I was in it is that a lot of the stuff that we were going through, I was going through it by my goddamn self, like just me. And I was carrying the weight of a lot of the relationship. So I don't know. I think that going back to the question that was asked, I think that it is nice to have the input of your closest friends who know you and know what you want and care about you. But it's some stuff because with this particular relationship, I felt like a lot of what I prayed for was answered. But a lot of what I didn't pray for, because I thought that naturally came in a man or a man that God would give me, is not what I was given. So it was kind of like the 80-20 situation, but it was more like a 60-40.
That's it.
It was more like 60-40. It was exactly what I prayed for, but nothing that I would already expect would come with this package. Like if we're talking about cars, like it's supposed to come with the basic package, but you get the car It has
And
everything that it
you winding up
has.
your windows like this.
Yes, and then your AC don't work.
Yeah.
And like you need new windshield wipers. Like this is supposed to come standard on the car, but it's not. It's not
And it's the
given.
things that you not necessarily that you take for granted, but you don't think about the intangibles.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
what you mean they don't got four wheels? Like it's a car. You know what I'm saying? So I feel that. I feel that. I do.
Exactly.
But I think that's important though, and I think that every relationship that you go in, not just romantic relationships, but friendships as well, like they all
Yeah.
should help you see yourself a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause life is
Definitely.
just a journey about becoming your best self, and that's a daily thing. You know, it's not like a yearly thing or you reach a point where you ever finish with that. Like growth for you as an individual should be something that you're constantly doing every day of your life. It shows itself in different ways, obviously, but it should be something that is continuous. It doesn't end. Like I know sometimes
Yeah.
entering into the workplace for me was weird because it was like you get there, and I felt like a lot of the people I left in high school, like I'm working with them, except they're 45 years old, and I was just weird to me that certain people just decide
Never grow
not
up.
to grow. Like how you okay with just being this person? You know what I'm saying? Like grow up. Like
Right.
get
Like how
yourself
are you
together.
45 and you have the same mindset as you did when you were in high school?
Yeah.
Like that was one thing, because you know what song was that I was listening to? Me, Myself, and I by Beyonce, right? That's my girl, as we all know. She said a line in
I'm
that
just learning. I
song.
don't know these things. I don't know. I'm learning. I
For,
don't know.
I'll send it to you. Okay, they sent
I
him
know.
the song.
No. I know the song. You said
Oh,
Beyonce's your girl. I said I don't know that. I barely know you.
yes, Beehive all day. That's
Okay.
my girl. Anyway,
Okay.
there was a line in there where she said that your best friend even tried to warn me on the low, right?
Yeah.
And there was a conversation that I had with my ex's best friend, and she told me that he was the exact same way as he was in high school. And I didn't hear her when she said it. Like I heard what she said, but I didn't comprehend what she was saying.
You didn't know what that meant. And then you know what? That's interesting.
So it was just like, so looking back at it, I'm just like, oh, that's what she meant by that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you got to really listen when people tell you that, and I say that too, because every relationship, whether it's a romantic one, a friendship, any type of relationship you enter with a person, once you exit, if you do not leave with some type of lesson about yourself or what you want or about people in general, that was a waste of your time. Like you have to take something from that. So from that relationship, I definitely learned to listen when people speak and really comprehend what they're saying, because people will tell you their flaws about themselves. You just have to listen to them and decide for yourself if that's something that you can handle.
Listen, another good Beyonce song. Not to plug them all in, but we might as well show the queen some love. But no, I agree. I agree. I think every relationship, and I use that term in its broadest possible view, is an opportunity for you to learn about yourself. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes as weird as it may seem, sometimes it's reiterating a point that you heard from an old relationship that you just kind of, you took it, but you didn't take it. You know what I'm saying? So someone has to show you another level of that for you to be like, wow, like, that's crazy. But no, I agree. I don't, you should learn something about yourself through all of your relationships. Now, hopefully you're not out here learning really expensive things through all of your relationships, because that's probably not the best. But is KJ green for you too, or just me?
Green?
Yeah, his camera is green.
That
Like
might just
his
be you.
image is green. Okay, well,
I can see him clearly.
Yeah.
KJ, are you green on your screen?
That's interesting. You look like the Hulk. But yes, I think that, like you said, that it's important that you sometimes, bring people around your friends, because your friends are going to see not necessarily them, but sometimes you. Like, girl, why you acting so different around with him around versus how you would act with us around? You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it's even something simple like that. So it's maybe they don't have anything to give you comment on about him per se, but even sometimes you, like, maybe you are not exercising yourself like yourself in that situation.
Yeah, that's true. Luckily, I haven't had that issue happen, but yeah, so I can definitely see
Shut
how
up,
some people.
stupid.
I can definitely see how some people would, like they subconsciously want the relationship to work so bad that they kind of put themselves in a box.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and as soon as you bring them around the friends, all of a sudden the friends are just looking at, like, he's a cool dude. Again, with your ex, he seemed like a cool dude. He just had some stuff. And it was just like, okay, you know. And, but luckily, that was a situation where you weren't acting any different. As we just kind of saw that we really kind of didn't really see how it was going to work. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
I think I'm just so set in the ways of Precious. There is nobody that will ever take me out of that. Like, I'm not gonna ever act different. I'm always gonna present myself I'm not the type of person that you have to ease into meeting. Like, I'm always gonna be me. And I think that's the confrontational side of myself. Uh,
How does
I'm
that
just
side of
always
how
gonna
does
present.
that side of you affect your relationships, romantic or otherwise?
Um, I feel like what I feel like I'm doing, which might not be what I'm doing. But what I feel like I'm doing is I'm giving people the raw, unedited version of me so you can decide very early whether this is something that you can deal with or not.
So do you ever dial it down though? Because I'm sure that you don't give them, or do you, like, how do you present that? Like, do you present it full throttle and then you're like, oh, you can take it. Okay, great. Let me turn this off. You know what I'm saying? Like, how does that work?
I'm always this way. Like, I'm
Mm.
always me. Like, I'm not like a super loud person. Like, I'm very, like I said, I'm confrontational. So, like, if you say something that I don't agree with, I'm always going to have some type of comeback or something like that. Like, I like to um, debate, have intelligent debates. I've always been a person that, like, I overdress for everything.
extra as fuck.
Yes, I am. I'm very extra. I like glitter and bling and pretty shit. I don't know. I've always been that way. And I don't think that that's not well, of course, some traits in my personality have changed as I've gotten older. I've noticed some things about myself that I don't like, that I've began to change or try to make myself come off in a different way. But like the main structures of my personality, like you get it right when you first meet me.
And I know, like, there's been a few conversations that were mentioned to me from some of the other dudes that you were talking to, where they kind of felt a little surprised to find out that our relationship was the way our relationship is. Um, but I know you tell them what it is from Jump Street,
Yeah.
and they basically just have to deal with it. It's just like, he's been there, he's held me down. I know exactly who he is. I know his family. He knows my family,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not going anywhere. And if that's a problem for you, then this isn't going to work. Um, I know a lot of guys. They probably going to have an issue with it. They'll probably act like they don't, but a lot of guys might have an issue with that, at least until they meet the guy.
I
You
think it
know,
just depends on how it's presented, because it's just like everyone has best friend. Well, not everyone. People have best friends that are different sex or whatever. So it's like it shouldn't be weird. And I feel sometimes it can be weird if how you present that individual, I think, is very important as to then how that individual feels about the relationship or whatever it is. But if it's just your best friend and you talk to that person all the time and that's what you present, which is what it is, then there's nothing
Mm-hmm.
like that. But if sometimes it's like you over present the person, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's not that any of what you say is not true. Like, oh, this person means so much to me, like whatever those things are. But sometimes to the person who's hearing it, they're like, well, what the hell is this about? You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
those are the words I think you would use to describe me in this situation, and you're using them to describe somebody else. So then it's like, for now, it's weird for them
Well,
interacting
I
with that
will
person.
say in that situation, it's definitely gotten easier to tell men about KJ and I's relationship after he got married. I feel like it's much easier. People like, oh, okay, Nick's married. All right, cool. But I'm I think that a lot of insecure men do have an issue with our relationship. And if that's something that you have an issue with, then that's just something that we wouldn't be able to do because, like, I'm the type of person, like, I am a bigger girl, but I like wearing shirts that, like, I like showing cleavage. Like, my legs are always out. That's just how I dress. Niggas look at me. I'm cute. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if me having a male best friend is going to set off one of your insecurities, then we can't be together at all because your insecurity bell is just going to be ringing and going off our entire time of us being together.
Yeah, and I
And
mean,
that's something you need to figure out with your therapist, not with me.
one of
Nah,
the
but
key words that
don't
you
you?
just said was that it was some insecure men, and you're the type of female that you know men that are insecure or have any type of insecurities, they're not going to really just last long around you unless they're and again, that's the whole reason why it was cool to see your ex, because from the outside looking in, he didn't seem insecure, but then as the
Oh,
night
no, not in that.
unfolded,
No.
yeah, as the night unfolded, I could tell that he had some other insecurities, or at least some other things that he was dealing with or needed to deal with that he probably didn't really realize, or overcompensating, or whatever, however you want to put it. That's just how I was just like, oh, okay, and I was really just trying to sit and have a conversation with the guy, but he was just, you know, he was what it was. But to me, it's really important that I'm happy that, like, the change that you're making now was really important that you did it, because I kind of see that now you're able to handle your relationship with your significant other a lot better before, and like get it on a secure ground before you start adding other people into it, because that can be chaos. I'm going to bring chaos anyway. I mean, a lot of every time anybody comes over my house, they're always warned, don't fall for KJ. Like, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. Just don't pay him too much attention. And that's because everybody that knows me knows I'm just going to be me. I don't really care who you are. I'm just going to do what I do, and I'm going to enjoy myself one way or another, as long as you don't cross no lines. So I'm happy that as you've gotten older, you've kind of really started to protect your relationship better from your friends. I mean, I'll just put it that way. And just be mindful about your relationship, because even though we mean good, you just shouldn't have a whole bunch of opinions in your relationship. That's between you, your person, and the Most High. And when we were younger, we wanted everybody to be all cool. And if I'm best friend, you gotta be best friend too. But in reality, it doesn't work that way.
I don't disagree, but I don't all the way agree.
Okay.
I think that a big misconception, which I actually had to explain this to my mother as well. In my whole existence as a person, I've only had 3 boyfriends. So some of these people that y'all be talking about, they weren't important anyway. So
that's me.
I get what you're saying.
That was me thinking they were more important to you than they were, because we were even having the conversation to begin with. And I kind of had to learn that everybody you bring around isn't really that important. You just ticket it. But, you know, that was just growth on my part to realize that. But I also kind of did that because of, you know, who will not be named. You know, after that entire situation, you know, we really had to work on yourself and trust issues and how, you know, counting cues and stuff, and you know, so I feel like once we went through all of that, it was like, all right, cool. Let me make sure she's not making the same mistake again. I think that's where I was at.
What I will say, and from a relationship standpoint, is, and Precious, you can probably attest to this. Hopefully, of all your relationships that didn't work, you knew that they didn't work well before they didn't work. And you,
yes.
And you can look back to that specific moment where that sign went up, and you were like, and you just like, I see you, sign, but I'm gonna, you know, keep on going. You say the bridge. I told
you I like red,
but
I like red.
So you just be just blowing through the red signs, just like.
I don't think that's necessarily what I do. I just feel like I don't want to ever be that person that thinks back in their mind like I should have tried harder.
True.
You know?
Yeah.
And like I said, I feel like you're not supposed to like, because I hate when people say that you have to go through pain to find love or some dumb shit, like some combination of those words that's stupid.
You don't think that?
I feel like.
Now, granted, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the relationship that is successful, by the way. But I think that there's pain in your prior relationships that you don't hit those same potholes in the future, right? So there, in a way, there's some truth to it.
There's lessons that need to be learned, but that you don't necessarily have to. I just feel like society as a whole, and this might just be because I'm a Black woman, that might just be my little view on it, but society as a whole feel like Black women are superheroes and that we can endure so much pain, we can go through so much stuff. And I feel like that's not fair. Like, you shouldn't have to find love or to be loved. You shouldn't have to. Like, there's so much stuff that happens. And there's like people that are married to people that they have been in relationships with, and they've never like gone through that type of hurt that people be talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, people that are happy in successful relationships, and they haven't been through these like ups and downs and woes and roller coasters of relationships, and having to call the police on niggas, and it's just too much. It's too much.
So I know what, it's none of anyone's business. I'm not going to ask you that question. If there's just me and you on here talking, I would, but this is going to the public. I ain't going to do that. But I think what it is, though, I think the trauma is different, right? Mm-hmm. But I think that even though some of those relationships that you kind of talked about, like, I think there's trauma there. I think it's just sometimes it looks different, you know what I'm saying? Because the trauma might be you feeling like you got to stay in this relationship because everyone else looks at it like it's so perfect. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you not happy, like you very unhappy. Both of y'all are unhappy, but y'all somehow bamboozled everybody into thinking like y'all relationship is everything that everyone wants. And you feel bad messing up that fairy tale. Or you just one of those people like, I had a friend the other day, she's getting married. She's like, divorce is not an option for me. I said, the devil is a liar. It better be an option for you because you're going to sit there and endure some stuff that you shouldn't have to endure on the strength of not wanting to get divorced. Like, the moment that man left his hand at you, that's grounds for divorce to me. He only got to strike you. Did he lift his hand to you? That's enough for me. Like, no one should be beating you, and in the back of your head, you're like, well, I told myself that I don't want to be divorced. That's ridiculous.
I'm sorry. I was about to interrupt you, and then I interrupt you anyway, and I didn't mean to, but I was going to say something about domestic violence, but you can continue.
Oh, no, this is a great time for us to say that try Jesus, don't try me. is what I would tell you. So I feel like, honestly, this is the message. If you find yourself in a relationship that includes domestic violence, remove yourself from it. I'm
Absolutely.
not going to say that you should choose the level of violence that some other people may tell you that you should choose. But by all means, please do defend yourself. A. B. You don't have to accept that from anybody. And I don't care how
Absolutely.
much they say that they love you or blase bullshit. Do not ever let anyone bamboozle you into thinking that love come with that. Period. Because that's not how life works.
I don't. That's gonna be a sound bite. We're gonna put that out there. I feel
That's
like a lot of people need to hear that.
I feel like I should be snapping.
Yeah. I mean, it's but I think what Mickey is trying to say is that
I got
precious.
both gloves in my trunk.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you should be going out and fighting a man. I mean,
I'm not. I tell people this all the time. The niggas that I date are too big for me to fight. But what I will say is, if you put hands on me, I'm gonna smother you in your sleep. So
now
you should be
I'm
gone
sure
before
there's a group of people who would find what you described enjoyable. Without hearing any other pretext or context as to what else is involved, there's a whole subset of people who would love everything you just described.
It's another soundbite.
But what I would say is that it don't even have to come to that. Like for me, like when people act right, and to I guess show you who they are, like that is not necessarily an invitation for you to join them at their table of ignorance. Now we all can. I think we can do that, but I feel like it's just sometimes it's not your battle to fight. Like I'm gonna be very clear, and I'm gonna look into the camera when I say it. If you see me in the streets, first of all, like T.I. said, you don't know me.
You don't know me.
But secondly, I will follow that up to say, please do not harass a woman in my presence. I don't play about it. I got nieces, I got little cousins, I got people I care for who are women. Not on my watch. Like that's just period. Like you have to jump me. That's it. You want to jump me. You and your friends are gonna have to jump me. Because I can't walk past that and just act like it's not a thing. That's not okay. Stop doing that childish shit. Please, I beg you, because I'm going to choose violence. I'm going to choose it. So sometimes it's not for you to fight. That's the point I'm trying to make is sometimes it's not for you, Precious, to have to take care of those things. Now I know you.
I've always been the protector though. Like that's just me.
I get it. But as a even protectors need to be protected. If you play chess, you would understand that. Even for people who don't play chess, you can understand that because it's just simple. Like even the protectors.
I used to be in the chess club in middle school.
Oh, okay, chess club. Okay.
We got to do something. So all three of us play chess. Okay.
It's been a minute.
How have we never played chess before?
I don't know. We talked about it a few times because my dad had a couple
like Cards Against Humanity, niggas.
You just had to throw that in there. I will say, on this stream so far, it's been Mickey that's been starting the shit, not me.
That's because we called you out first thing.
Did I say anything? What did I say that was wrong? I didn't lie.
I don't ever lie. So
everything I said was truthful.
So me too.
I didn't start anything. I didn't say that anyone. I ain't talk about nobody mama. I ain't say nothing. Like I'm a very
my mom is a lovely person. Okay.
You know.
But this is a great topic that we kind of just fell into. And I think a lot of females need to hear this. Like, that's not. And I know, these days everybody is, all into, gender roles don't exist and stuff like that. I personally feel like that's a bunch of BS. I'm like, all right, cool.
Well, in the relationship I would like to be in, they definitely do.
I mean,
y'all choose whatever y'all would like, but
yeah, like
I would like for a man to be the head of my household.
With that, and that's the way. That's the way to me it's supposed to be. Now, however that works within y'all relationship, that's between you and your head. And nobody else has to understand how it works. As long as whatever you and your husband sit down and discuss how it's going to operate, that's how it operates. But what I'm saying is it's a lot of women that feel like you put your hands on me, I'm gonna kill you and all this other stuff, and then they end up in situations that they didn't ever, it's like, for what? Like, you can just call me. Like, why did you even do that? You got all these people that will go to the ground for you. So why would you even do that? Like, that don't, like, you can defend yourself. Now, if it's you in a situation where you're trying to escape and he's putting his hands on you, then yeah, by all means defend yourself. But afterwards, please pick up the phone so that we can finish it and it'll just be done. Because I've seen enough domestic violence in my life to say that I'm sick and tired of it. And I think a lot of straight up and down black men need to protect our black women. That's basically what it is.
That's a fact. That's from the mountaintop. Period.
Like,
period.
It's just ridiculous how women just disappear and just like never to be seen again. And nobody's saying nothing. Like, even people, like, you even see like when the police pull over a black man, it'd be like the black woman that be trying to go over there and defend that brother. And I'm like, yeah, you should try to defend your man, but like, where's the brother? Like, that brother should be defending. Yeah, like, it don't happen. You don't see it like that.
Yeah, I agree.
And this is backwards, and I think that's the reason why, like, us as a people can't really rise, is because it's backwards.
I mean, what I would say, right, and I feel like it starts. I would take it back to parenting, because as a parent, like, you know what I'm saying, you're taught to.
You're a parent?
No.
Why did you just make that face?
No, don't put that on me. No, I'm not against having kids, but that no kids for me right now. But like okay. Just from a dynamic standpoint, right? Me and KJ were both raised in a single family household. KJ was raised by his father. I was raised by my mother. Those two varying points, you know what I'm saying? And I see it in how, just being around KJ majority of his life and knowing him, I see the difference it was in his father raising him and my mother raising me. And it's not a knock on either or, but their father taught them how to be tough. You know what I'm saying? My mom taught me how to be tough too, but it was different. You know what I'm saying? It was a different type of toughness that was preached from one side or the other. And I think as a man, everything that you're taught as a man has to do with you as an individual, as a person. Like, how do you become better as a man? How do you make more money? How do you become putting yourself in a position to be the head of a household, and blah, 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 blah. Whereas women are not, they're not given these individual things. So men grow up viewing themselves as individuals and not a part of a group, like identifying and associating and doing all these other things that humans do, because men aren't taught those things. They're just not taught those dynamics. The closest they come to any of those dynamics are playing sports, and they can't sometimes translate that from sports to real life. You know what I'm saying? Where you need people to do other things, and protecting people that may not have anything to do with you directly. I think that concept is it's something we teach to kids indirectly, because there's no reason that women should be so good at it and guys are so bad at it. That doesn't make sense. It's just purely an instruction, I think, societal instruction, that we find ourselves in the way that we are right now.
That's why you need both parents in the household.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
I mean, just it'd be the littlest thing.
Don't think that way. I mean, Mickey, you know how I was raised, and y'all both know my dad.
Yeah, we know.
Granted, I get a lot of things from him, but the way I am now didn't come into fruition until he remarried, and my stepmother kind of like remolded me, and kind of, because, granted, he had his issues and stuff like that, and, he did the best that he could. But especially my youth, my early teenage years, my early 20s and stuff like that, I just looked at the world like it was just mine for the taking, and I just didn't care like who else I hurt. It's like, it was just whatever. And it wasn't until I got older to learn how to soften that up and really build relationships, and start looking at people like they're just automatically going to have, take something from me or something like that. And, for my dad admitted that he did a lot of stuff that he did because he knew that this world was hard, and he wanted to raise me to be prepared to go out in this world. A lot of women, like, they just don't roll that way. Like, women, y'all are the natural nurturers. Y'all, you know, that's just the road that you fall in. So you need those two dynamics, that yin and the yang, so to speak, to properly mold and raise a child, because without it, you get these people that grow up and just do crazy stuff and turn out to be like young KJ. And you just be looking like, yo, what the hell you doing?
Well, what I will say, just to piggyback on a point that Mickey made earlier, that I think I met you at the beginning of the end of your Wild 'N Out stage. And I felt like once you really got serious about Taryn, I saw a lot
Shout out
of
to
things
Taryn.
change in
Taming
you.
the bear.
Yes.
Shout out to
I
her.
saw a lot of things changing you. So I feel like once you got that nurturing that you longed for so long as a child from your now wife, I feel like that changed a lot of you. So I'm excited to see how you will be bringing up your daughter in this world.
Yeah, she taught
Just
me I
because of
don't
you.
have to fight so much, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's,
praise God. Somebody finally got the words through to you.
I mean, but you know how sometimes when you around people too long, they be saying something to you, and you just don't listen to them because it's who it's coming from.
Yes, I know exactly what that's like. That's my position. I get it. Yes.
So I think that's literally what it was. You know, she just came into my life, and she said certain things, and she mentioned that she had certain red flags, and I was just like, well, I don't want to lose this one, so maybe I should do something about that.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's what it's about, changing.
Yeah.
Like certain people, like I think a lot of men, especially Black men, they feel like to change is to be weak. Like they have to keep this.
We're taught that in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like why they don't show emotion. Men have emotions. It's just they've learned how to tuck them because that's what we're taught. That you're weak if you cry. You're weak if you do this and that or whatever it is. That's just it's weak to care. Is what a lot of people are taught. Like you shouldn't care because caring is a form of weakness.
Yeah.
Like I had like after me and my ex broke up, like back when we were still talking, like I had a serious conversation with him, like, hey, if you change this about yourself, like you would make somebody very happy. Like you would make an excellent husband if like you just work on these things. And he was so proud and so like bullheaded that it was just like, nah, I'm happy the way that I am right now. And I'm just like, well, you will never find somebody who is going to be willing to deal with that. Like, it's just not going to happen.
But
like, not somebody who loves themselves.
Yeah. Just said the key word.
Because, like, I'm not even about to go into his business, but yeah.
It's a lot of, like, healing that needs to happen among a lot of us. And, you know, for whatever reason, well, a lot of the reasons are like we're just taught to just, you know, we have one life to live, just YOLO, and just you know, just get drunk, get high, just party.
It's a freeing concept, but it's just so dangerous.
Yeah, and so all of a sudden you'll be like 35, 36 years old, just miserable, and you know, you just hurt people, and you just running around just doing the same stuff that you was doing when you 21 years old. And you just can't feel like you're in a loop and you can't get out. And all you really got to do is just have an honest conversation with yourself.
Yeah.
But that seems so hard to do.
It's hard, bro. It's hard.
Absolutely. It's definitely hard, but it's something that is necessary.
Yeah.
Like it's so necessary. And I don't even want to make it come off like men are the absolute issue, because like I said before, there's definitely some stuff that I'm still working on and have like worked on like as a person. Like I feel like the person that KJ met at 20 is definitely not who I am now. Like there's certain ideals and things that I thought then that I can't even believe that that's some of the shit that I said.
Gross.
So
yep.
I mean, yeah.
It's so necessary. And it's I don't know. I think what makes it so hard is it's scary to like really open up and
Absolutely.
be vulnerable, especially for men, because we're taught to, be the protectors, and we're taught to be hard, and you have to, defend your family, stuff like that. So we feel like, to be vulnerable is the last thing we should be doing. But that's another reason why having friends that'll call you out on your bullshit is so important, because when they know that you going through something and you're just ignoring it, like I've said, I think the last conversation me and you had was, I basically was like, eventually I'm just going to change my voicemail to say what I told you. And every time you call me to complain about whatever it is, if it's the same topic, I'm just going to send you the voicemail, because I'm not going to keep saying the same thing to you over and over again. If you don't want to take my advice, that's cool, but there's an easy fix to every situation. The problem is people don't want to do the thing because they feel like they also don't want to let go of whatever it is that they had. Like they want to fix the situation and have their cake and eat it too. And it doesn't work like that. Sometimes when you make a change, there's going to be also a sacrifice that you have to make. But we also forget that sacrifice doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. They say every time a window closes, a door opens. So actually, they say every time a door closes, a window opens. But I like to say it the other way around, because it makes it sound better. It makes it sound like, yeah, I'm losing a window, but I'm getting a whole door.
Yeah, it sounds more achievable.
Yeah. So, I know, Sizzle, you said you got to go in a few minutes. So we want to do some final comments or something like that, because we went over a lot more than I kind of thought we would. But that's also the reason why I said like 2 hours, because I do, we going to start talking. We like to do some more of these.
I would like to say that it was nice to have a conversation with Precious under normal circumstances, and to really get to understand you as a person better. And I really do appreciate that moment of being able to do that. And just overall, I think it's just nice to have conversations with people, and just talk about some things, and share perspectives that other people can relate with, and maybe and challenge some people in some of the ways that they think, and hopefully open someone's mind to viewing or thinking about something in a different manner.
Did you just light some incense?
She blew out a candle.
I lit candles because I look cute in candlelight.
Okay.
And one last thing, I guess, to kind of follow up on the last things we were talking about. As a person, but especially as a Black man, go find yourself a counselor, man. If you dealt with trauma in your life, there's room for you to talk to somebody. So find yourself a counselor. And trauma is, again, there's not a person who's been through life that hasn't been through trauma. If your grandmother died when you were 6, you've been through some trauma. Because at 6, you don't understand death. It doesn't make sense to you. And they tried to explain it the best way they could. And you've lived life with that. And that one incident has shaped so much things about your life you have no idea about. So please find yourself somebody to talk to. It's not a weakness point of view, but it really helps you to understand yourself better, which then allows you to bring the best version of yourself to the world, but also to your relationships, whether they be romantic or platonic or otherwise. Don't be afraid to go reach out and find somebody.
Precious, any last words?
I love that. That was beautiful. I think I have the same sentiments. It was definitely nice to have a conversation with you, Mickey. Get to know you better as a person, and I hope that we have many more. Thank you, KJ, for setting this up, even though you messy as hell.
What's beef? Or whatever Biggie said. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely therapy works. Get you some. And just be honest. I feel like if more people were honest with each other and with themselves, a lot of issues that are going on in the world now wouldn't be going on. Before you do anything, definitely look within yourself and see if this is something that you really want to be doing. And you ask yourself those hard-hitting questions. Like, it's definitely hard to be honest. It's hard to be honest with yourself, but somebody has to do it. There's not and just remain teachable.
Open
And
teachable.
yeah, open and teachable. And you don't know everything.
You hear that, KJ?
You will never know everything.
KJ, you hear that?
I never said I did.
I didn't say that you did. I just asked if you heard it. Why are you taking it to heart? That ain't got nothing to do with me.
Listen,
Well,
some of the most brilliant minds and some of the richest men in the world are still taking classes. So
Yeah, learning never stops.
you can always learn something.
Definitely right about that. I definitely love and appreciate both of you. Thank you for giving me, a couple hours of your time. We want to do some more of these. If you all have some topics that you kind of been rummaging through yourselves that you want to go over, let me know. We can set some more of these up. Maybe on a monthly basis we can do something. I think while I'm editing, I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to notice that there's like a couple topics that we may have breezed over that we can probably like delve into more. And for the listening audience, if you enjoy, of course, like, share, and subscribe. And if nobody has told you before, let me be the first one to say, I love you. Peace.
Aww, love you too.
Everybody loves the sunshine.